It was 1997. Madison was 5 years old, Mason was 5 years old, and they shared a classroom together. And one day Madison came home with a yellow flyer in her backpack.
And I had sent it to class with Mason. Mason had started in-home therapy, which I thought was successful in helping him develop language and also giving us a little bit more strength and courage to move forward with an individual on the autism spectrum. This was vital information for other parents that I felt I wanted to share. So I invited him to my house, and from that point on, Becky and I have been friends and mothers with children on the autism spectrum, which at that point we didn't realize was going to be the genesis of Pathfinders.
We began the therapy that I learned about from Polly with Madison, and she went from being nonverbal to start using words, colors, numbers, shapes. I was so surprised that this therapy could work with Madison because I had had her in services since she was 9 months old, where she was getting a good developmental pediatrician, she was getting good communication therapy through a speech therapist. But I learned about this not from the professionals, but from a friend who was generous enough to share that information. So I'll always be grateful to Polly for sharing that. From that experience, we realized we were not alone. There are other parents out there who must be struggling. So we decided to create Pathfinders as a way for people to get access to information from people who cared and who had had experience.
Pathfinders provides more than just the therapy. We provide many more services for the families and their children affected by autism. Lifespan services, things that people don't even think about, like where to get a haircut, where to go to the dentist. You know, things that affect daily lives for our children on the autism spectrum.
Although Madison and Mason were in the same class and received many of the same services, they're at very different places right now. Madison still only uses the scripted speech that she learned as a result of that program, and has had increased difficulties with behaviors where she's had multiple hospitalizations, and we still are struggling to find a good behavior therapy for her.
And Mason works 4 jobs and is flourishing in a day program specific for individuals on the autism spectrum. So just our 2 lives, even though they started with the same diagnosis, and 20 years later, they're completely different, both dealing with autism and both using Pathfinders for autism.